Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Nick and Joe Show. My name's Nick. His name is Joseph, and sitting to my right, we're I was going to say not philosophically. Actually, yes. We're aligned philosophically, but physically he's to my right as well here in the studio is Chris Fraser, who is, when he's with us, we usually have co-hosts. Tonight we have tri-hosts. So with that said.
And we are not the Three Stooges.
Well, there are those who may argue with us.
Three wise men.
I like that. I like that. The three wise men.
Yeah.
The only question is, where are they? I think they went back to Persia, didn't they?
I'm not sure.
That's where they were from.
Somewhere warmer than here.
There's not many places that aren't, unless you live in Texas.
Yeah, so if you were wise, you would be somewhere warmer than here. Yeah.
So we're the three wise men wannabes? Anyway, in the last segment, you've missed, if you're just joining us now, you missed a whale of a first hour. In the first segment, we talked about the passing of Rush Limbaugh and the impact he had on our professions. That means you get paid. On our passion for talk radio. And in the second half of the first hour, we talked about socialism and its ever-growing popularity. This segment, Joseph, what have we got on the list?
Well, I thought we'd talk a little bit about some media manipulation.
Oh, yes.
I think Chris had a few things he wanted to say about that.
Yes, I was noticing, I was on YouTube yesterday, and you go through YouTube and you talk about algorithms, and they know what you like, so they send you stuff.
Do they ever?
And I just happened to stumble upon a parade in West Palm Beach, which is not far from where I was about a month ago.
And it didn't take me. It's warmer
down there. It didn't take you, no. But West Palm Beach, Florida. It was President's Day on Monday. It was Family Day here in Ontario. It was President's Day in the United States. So the former president of the United States, who happens to live near West Palm Beach, the streets were lined with people waiting for former President Trump to come down the road. They were lined up for a few miles, and it was incredible to see all those people out there. I always wonder who starts these things. Does some guy on Facebook say, hey, let's go out to the street, and hope that Trump comes by? But anyways, they arranged it, and the streets were lined up to see President Trump. And I'm watching this on YouTube. I'm going, I didn't see this in the mainstream media. I didn't see it on CTV or CNN
CBC
or any. I don't watch CNN very much, but I'm pretty sure that CNN didn't show that. But years ago, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s, that would have been a big news story. Right. People lined up for miles on the street waiting for the president to drive by. Today, in 2021, not even going to cover it.
Well, there's a Canadian version of this. It's not President's Day or Prime Minister's Day, but it's pro-life. You could have 25,000 people on the Hill, and 2 days later, CBC will mention, there was a little protest.
Right.
That's it. And during the event, you've got tens of thousands of people on Parliament Hill. It's the biggest protest every year. Mm-hmm. And if you get any coverage at all, they pick the three lunatics out of the crowd, and they talk to them. They never talk to the event sponsors. They never talk to some of the families that are there. They never talk to anybody. But you've got, on the one hand, you've got a whole bunch of hardcore feminists and all the nonsense that they bring to it. And you've got a couple people who are, who are pro-life, but, they might not be the most eloquent people in the world. Right. And so we do have a parallel event. It's not on that scale, let's face it. To get more than 100 Canadians in any one place at any time for a political reason is a major accomplishment in this country. In the United States, it's almost a sport, a blood sport, no less. And when Trump, love him or hate him, shows up to that kind of turnout, you would think that somebody would report it.
Yeah. If it had been Joe Biden, they say he's from Pennsylvania, I believe.
You get three people.
Yeah, if Joe Biden had said, I'm going to be driving down to the golf course in Scranton, Pennsylvania, people can come out and watch me and wave. Yeah, they might have had 20 people come out. Trump had hundreds lined up. He's not even the president anymore. And hundreds of people were lined the streets and no coverage at all. Like, what does that tell you about the
Well,
media?
I was reading something in the media today. I forget where I saw it, but Biden's numbers are already under 50%.
Is that right?
Yeah, support and approval. And apparently, I didn't read that. I just caught the headline. I didn't read the whole story. But apparently, it's a lot under 50%. So you've got Trump, who is always in the upper 40s, brushing 50 and sometimes over that. And then you've got his replacement. How long has he been in office? 6 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
And he's already under 50%? Where's he going to be a year from now? What's his first 100 days going to look like? And you want to talk about manipulation by the media. How are they going to spin it?
How are they going to spin that? Yeah.
Well, that's the answer to that is quite clear. They're not going to report it. But yeah, I actually, I don't. I'm not sure that the media over a period of time is going to give Joe Biden as much of a pass as everybody thinks they are. Because I'm not actually convinced that Joe Biden is their sweetheart. I think Kamala Harris is, and I think that it would not surprise me. I don't think that Biden's going to run for a second term, and
He's
that's for starters. And whether he runs for a second term or not, I'm not sure that he makes it to the end of this term.
If he survives this term, I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, he does not look well.
No,
I don't have it. I don't care who the president of the United States is. I'm just this is a totally neutral observation. Joe Biden does not look well when he speaks. I mean, I don't know if you've listened to any of his press conferences, but he stumbles and mumbles a lot.
No, I don't want to be put to sleep that fast.
Well, yeah, you see, you're just being, but I'm being serious now, okay? I mean,
Who said I wasn't?
I know you, Nick. I know you.
But the media, once again, the president is Biden, the vice president is Kamala Harris, two people who didn't do well in the primaries. Now, here in Canada, we call them our leadership races.
Right.
I guess in the States they call them the primaries. But Kamala Harris didn't even finish in the top 8. She had to drop out. And it looked like Biden was going to have to drop out too. And then all of a sudden, all these other people dropped out and gave their votes to Biden. So neither Harris or Biden were supposed to be in the final, so to speak. They just all of a sudden popped up. It's just like, and actually Biden and Harris was kind of taking Biden down. What's the word I'm looking for? Insinuating that he actually might be a little bit of a racist. And if you watch the debates last year.
Right.
So, and all of a sudden now he chooses her to be his vice president?
Well,
the lady that accused you of being a racist?
Well, yeah.
It's all optics.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. It's retail politics. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm sure they did a lot of polling and market research before they decided to ask Harris to join the ticket. And it's funny, there were a couple of instances, I don't know if anyone else caught it, but during the campaign where Harris herself made the mistake of talking about the Harris Biden ticket.
Right.
and it was a bit of a faux pas. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube.
I can't see the press. Look, love him or hate him, Biden is the president.
Right.
I tend towards, I frankly don't have a dog in the hunt either, as much as I despise his politics, but I have no say in what the Americans do or don't do. I don't pay taxes.
It affects us, though. It affects Canada. That's
the
problem.
But we have to remember, that's like saying the shade of your neighbor's tree affects the quality of your backyard. Unless that tree leans over the fence, there's nothing you can do about it. Okay? Like, we have no ability.
There's that inequality we were talking about
no
before
kidding.
Popping up again. That's just life.
That's right.
People look for some fundamental fairness. I mean,
life has never been
had to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. So getting back to her again, I can't see the press giving her more of a limelight than they give to Biden. Because Biden, like I said, love him or hate him, is the president. And if they started, like if they said, yeah, Biden's giving a speech tonight, and tonight in other news, Vice President, whatever her name is, Harris, had this to say. And, that's the end of it for Joe Biden. They can't do that. Who knows? I can't see them doing it. because they've been pushing so hard, so long to get rid of Trump, waving the Biden banner, that to abandon him now makes them completely, as if they weren't transparent before. But it's like, now they live in a house with no walls at all.
Okay, but let's set aside personalities for a second to talk about issues. One of the things that this new administration in the United States has talked about is how they're correcting all of the problems and the mistakes, or at least they're insinuating this, that the Trump administration made with respect to the COVID-19 virus, the creation of the vaccine, and the rollout of the vaccines, okay? And I've actually, in fairness, I actually have heard mainstream media, and not just Fox News, saying, okay, don't say that the Trump administration didn't do anything. It was under Trump and Trump's leadership that we created these vaccinations, these vaccines, in a record amount of time. So clearly there was something that was going on. And they were rolling out vaccinations before the end of the year while Trump was still president, albeit after the election.
Right.
So I've been seeing some pushback on this.
Well, I hope that's the case.
I'm not defending the mainstream media here by any stretch of the imagination. I think that there are serious problems with it. But at the same time, maybe there is just an inkling of an awakening, a recognition in some circles in the journalistic universe that maybe they've gone a little too far.
It's a good thing, in the United States, it's a good thing there is competition. Like, you have Fox News, but then you have some other agencies like Newsmax is becoming very, very popular as well. Right. And One America Network. So at least it's not total balance, but at least people can go somewhere to say, okay, what's the other side saying besides CNN and what's it, NBC? Was it
MSNBC?
And I ask you this, okay? Is that such a bad arrangement when you think about it? Rather than a news network trying to represent everybody's perspective equally, is it such a bad thing that you have a number of news networks that are representing a more narrow perspective each, but that there's an opportunity for people to move around and to see what other people's perspectives are? In other words, and this is it's an open question, right? Mm-hmm. We tend to blame the media, and I blame the media as much as anybody else, okay? As I said, I'm not defending the mainstream media here, but I'm asking a troubling question. At what point in time, if we were Americans, okay, and we had, and even here in Canada, we have full access to all of the choices, news choices that Americans have in the United States, okay? Like, Fox News is not censored when it comes into Canada. Well, okay, actually, maybe it is to a certain degree because the major carriers, cable carriers, don't carry Fox News as part of their package, but generally they do CNN, and most of them do CNN. Yeah. So you're only getting perhaps one perspective. But is it such a bad thing if we have a number of voices, and each of those voices perhaps represents a much narrower perspective, but we still have the ability to gain the perspective of other people, and perhaps even a better understanding of where other people are coming from with a different perspective, because they're being much more narrowly represented by a particular media voice?
As long as they're allowed to keep doing what they're doing. Because there's rumors, like, people like Tucker Carlson has made comments that they're trying to get rid of Fox now. Right. There's pressure on Fox's sponsors, and they want to take down Fox. Right. So if they're successful in taking down Fox, then what happens? It's like,